What's happening, Cryptonauts? It is Crypto Phoenix back here with another video on 0xUniverse. And this time we're going to start having a look at the expert level information and what you need to do in order to make the best profits in your game. So I've been playing the game for a couple of months now, and I'd like to think that I know quite a lot about it and been really involved with the community and having a look at things like corporations and battleships, and the game is traversing to a good space. There's a lot of good people involved, a lot of people that are making some really awesome tools to go alongside it in preparation for corporations. And I sort of got to a point where I was listening to some of these guys and they had 1,000 planets, and I was just like, how on earth have you done that? I sort of I put maybe close to 2 Ethereum in and bought, I don't know, maybe 130 planets. I'm thinking, how do you have 1,000? How is that even possible? Because once you get to a certain sort of time frame with your ships, it takes physically sort of 30 to 50 days to invent a level 15 or 16 spaceship unless you have X amount of population. So I'm doing the numbers in my head just thinking this is not sustainable. So fast forward to where we are. What we've come up with is we have uncovered that the best way for you to play this game, if you are serious about it, and even if you want to start with a small budget, is to play with as many accounts as you can manage. I say as you can manage because it is a bit of a challenge. I mean, you've got planets, you've got population, you have inventions, you have sending the spaceships. There's a lot to manage. So we are coming up with a way for people to manage their planets, their ships, and their accounts a lot easier. That'll come in the next video. But for all intents and purposes, I will teach you right now how we can make multiple accounts and manage them as best as we can for profit using the tools that we have available now. So the very first ingredient you're going to need is a new Metamask account. So let me just pop this up here so that you can see it. And what we've got is this is my number 12 account. So it's really easy. Basically, you just go create account, give it a name. It automatically generates a new Ethereum address. And alrighty, so we have account 14 created. And what we need to do is copy this address and store it in our list. And the next thing that we need to do is create a brand new email address. So the easiest way to do that is either Yahoo, Gmail, or any of those different providers. I have the luxury of having an enterprise grade one. I can just create them anytime I want, so that's lovely. And once you've created that email, it's then time to go in and create a new account. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is load up your latest wallet. So all you need to do is have that kind of mounted. I'll go through this in depth a little bit later, but I'll just walk you through this process now. So I've got this account open, and I'm just going to make sure that this window is positioned correctly so that we can sign out of this account. So what we need to do is we're going to sign up. So this whole process, they have this sign in, sign out, sign up sort of process. And what I'm going to do is essentially just create the new account through this process. So I've got all my details ready to go. I have a username, I have an email address, and that's going to be linked to this very specific Ethereum wallet. So everything that is going to be 0xUniverse is going to be linked to those details, and you'll need to keep track of those going forward. So I've just created a couple of simple ones, and now we will sign up. It'll just ask us to sign, and now we have access to the wallet linked to 0xUniverse, and it is brand new. There will be no planets. So that's a new account. Alrighty, so now that we have new account, we need planets, and we also need money for launches. So this next part, I'll take you through one of my other accounts that I believe is more or less set up for optimal experience. So if we just have a look, this is my Jim Morrison account. Hope you guys enjoy the doors. This account is really thin. Basically, it's only got 2 planets, and out of those 2 planets, it has 13,500 people. So when you're talking about knowledge generation in order for ship creation, there's really only thing that matters, which is people. If you have a lot of people, then you can invent ships faster, and the better ships you can get quicker mean that you can explore for better planets faster with that account. So look, I think anything around about the 10,000 mark in people is good for a new account, and that'll get you off and running. In terms of cash, look, I think 15 USD or 20 Aussie, around about the what would that be? That'd be 0.07, 0.07 or 0.1 per account will certainly give you enough for let's see, ship creation, sending ships, auctioning planets, and any of that sort of stuff. That'll give you more than enough that you need. So yeah. So the next thing we're going to look at is ships. It's really the whole purpose of this new account process is to get new ships that are cheaper, because every time you send a ship, it uses more and more resources, and as you start to get to rank 5, rank 6 ships, they start to use gold resources, and then if you're having to spend 1,000 gold resources per ship to be sent, and you come back even with a common planet, it's just not a very good ROI. So when you have access to, say, a couple of dozen into the hundreds type ships, then you have a much bigger spaceship pool to pull from, and you don't really have to go over a certain amount of resources. So I'm just going to take you through how that looks, and you can make your own judgments, but I've got my own sort of benchmarks that I follow, and this is what I've been doing for profit. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. So ships, let me just move this out the way. Pretty much what you'll find is the first 3 or 4 ships in almost any account are going to be trash. They'll be rank 1, and then you'll start to get rank 2 and 3. This account is not a very, very good way of showing you. Let's have a look at the next one. Okay, that's a little bit better. That last account was trash. I'm still waiting for a good ship on it. And in fact, it may be closed down. So let's move on. We have this account. We have 3 rank 1s, a rank 2. This rank 2 ship here, just so we're all aware, this is about the bottom level that I will consider even sending, even at these gas prices. So let's tangent to gas prices. They're extremely low at the moment. Between 1 and 3 usually is what you'll get a gas price. So in terms of actual spend for a launch, you're getting launches between 10 and 20 cents Australian. So what's that? That's 7 and 15 cents US. And really, I mean, that just makes the game so much more affordable, and it's stabilizing the economy. More people are getting involved because it's low barrier for entry. So, now's the time you really want to be getting at your planets. So tangent over. Rank 2 ship, 7 thruster, 17 radar. That is my benchmark. I do not use any ship lower than that, period. Anything lower just does not get used, because you're not really going to find a lot of planets. You might find some commons. It's just not worth it. Your 10, 17 rank 3s, they're pretty common. And look, I'm pretty happy with them generally. I've found some rares and even an epic, I think, with one of those ships. So that's good. But as you start to get further along, eventually you're going to come across one of these babies, 1629. My strategy with these ones is launch them at a sector that is out in the middle of nowhere, not connected to any other planets, or close to any planets that you already have, and you'll get lucky. It might take might take three or four different launches, but it's possible that you'll get an epic out of this. I'm very fond of the 1629s. They are my favorite ship at the moment, because they only take your rare resources, and they're still pretty rarely available at the moment. So that's it kind of illustrates the spectrum. This is more the top end, and around the 11 spaceships is really sort of, if you're still starting to get another good ship. I still have one here, but for all intents and purposes, this account is done. I'm not going to use it. It's starting to get too unaffordable, to really continue spending the resources on it. I mean, even the 1629, 1400 gold and 1274 silver. That's a lot. That is actually a lot. It just doesn't warrant it. It doesn't make sense to continue sending. I mean, yeah, it's a great ship, but I can get another one. That's what this whole video is about. Is you can always get another account with more ships. It's just a matter of time. So, yeah, that sort of concludes the ship component. And now we'll have a look at planet management. Not planet management. Account management, and how many accounts you sort of really want to roll with. So as you can see, I have quite a number of accounts. Basically, up until this morning, I was rolling with 13 different accounts, and they're all doing different things. Because typically you'll get one good ship that needs a very large resource requirement, and so you'll stack that planet, and I'll get to that next. But what you want to do to maximize your account management is you need to take control of when your ship inventions are going to come up. So you need to know which spaceship is launching from which account, when the invention is next going to happen, and if there are any resources that are going to come up that you need to be sending from your main account. Because if you're like me and you spent a bit of cash on the game, on my main account, before I started with other accounts, I had 135 planets, and now I've dispersed about 40 or so planets with a very large amount of population across to these other accounts. So they're creating knowledge all by themselves, and over time, we've got them creating additional ships and inventions. So, for example, I have 3 planets inventing on the 20th, 3 on the 19th, 1 on the 11th. Oh, that's going to happen today. That's good. There is 1 on the 14th, 2 on the 23rd, and 1 on the 20th. So you need to take control of the management of it. You got to look at it like, really look after them and make sure that you understand what they're doing. And if you can't use a planet because its spaceships are trash or it doesn't have the resources, then put it aside and don't keep going back in and out of it, because you'll waste a lot of time. So that's another quick tips for you. So let's move on. So for all intents and purposes, we're going to get started with one other account that we created this morning, and I'm just going to try and sort of fast track you through it. So on this particular account here, I have 22 bucks. I'm going to send $7.50 across to account 14. And $7.50 across to account 15. Just to get them up and running. And now I'm going to go into my main account. So I'm in the main account now, and I'm just going to send a couple of reasonable sized planets across to those accounts. So I want to hit that 10k mark, so I've actually got these 4 planets here, and I'm just going to send 2 to each. So this one will go to the first one. Let's just get this out of the way so that we can actually gift. So I'm gifting the planet. And as you can see, like, gas price is just freaking awesome at the moment. So, I mean, I can even just dial this cost down even more. So that's the first one, and the second one is going to be this one here, which is another 5k. So anyway, I think you get the idea. Let's fast forward. Okay, last thing before we get stuck into the new account is just remember to confirm your 0xUniverse account. I'm not sure if it affects any algorithms or mechanics, but you know, let's help the guys out and build their database anyway. Alrighty, so we've made it. We're in account 15, and we've got 2 planets from the parent account, and if we have a check here, it's 10,000 people a day, which is more than enough. We have funds in the account, so when we start to actually use it, which we're about to, everything's ready to roll. So that's pretty much that's it. You know, when we just start creating spaceships and monitoring the accounts. Look, if this is your first time doing it, you probably want to start with 4 or 5 just to see how it goes. You will need a bit of coin to get started, but literally, you know, it's going to take you about a day and a half, maybe 2, before you can really start to send spaceships. And at that point, you will just have the best time sending all of these spaceships and getting a heap of planets. What will happen is when I hit that day, that one particular day, I hit 7 epic planets. So if you look at current market for epics, the 0.19 is the lowest epic that you can buy, I think, as cheapest. So you know, 0.2 Ethereum, that's basically 30 bucks, unless my maths are correct. 30 bucks. So, you know, 7, I found 7 in a day, that's 210. That's close to what I put in its entirety, you know. So just through one day, I made just as much money, or close to at least half of what I put in. I haven't sold those planets, but I could have. I could have undercut everybody and sold them for about 180 Aussie dollars, and then I'd be away. But it just goes to show, you know, that's how you can get results. And honestly, while launch costs are so low, it's just such a good time to get in. So that's where we'll leave that right now. So the final thing I'm going to take you through is my assessment of when I think a planet is finished and how you should move on from it. So we're just going to duck into number 3. So number 3 is been going for a while, and you know, it made some good discoveries. I think I found 1 or 2 epics. and it had some reasonable level ships, but now it's just not cost effective to send it more population to to get better quality ships realistically, because we've got 13 days. Let's just move this out of the way. 13 days, and there's nothing here that I really want to use in terms of ships. So I started looking at these ones just really early on, and it was just trash. I wasn't getting any results. 8 to 12, I realized that wasn't sustainable. I absolutely loved this ship. We had such good results from memory. This is starting to get into too expensive territory. So where we're at is we have 11 spaceships. It's going to take 13 days with existing population to get a new spaceship, and there's no guarantee that it's going to be any good. This particular planet has 25,000 people, account, and 16 planets. So it's at the point where, look, it's just not worth having it anymore. So what do you do in that instance? Well, I've put together a bit of a guide on that. So let's move straight into that and tackle what you do when you decommission an account. So there's two ways of doing this. You can either go into the mine section of the planets. I wish they were all mine. They're not. It's just taking a bit of a moment to refresh. Okay, so that's all the planets that this account has. We have 16 planets, and that's all of them. There's a few rares. I mean, we had a bit of a good go. I mean, some of these I've transferred across, but for these 4, 5, 6, they were all new by the looks of things. And this one here as well, that's new. So I've actually got up for sale. I am going to cancel that, I think. What we're going to do is I'm actually going to transfer all of these planets to different accounts. So you can either do it the old-fashioned way through the game, which if you don't have a need to do it in bulk, I would recommend it because it supports the game. And all you have to do is put in the wallet or the receiver's name. So just be careful when doing that. But this account is done. So my strategy is going to involve moving them back to my base planet and then decommissioning the account. So if we want to do it in bulk, we use a platform called Opensea. So without advertising Opensea too much, I think it's an amazing platform. What it's for is it's a crypto collectibles marketplace, and as you can see on the left here, there's so much stuff that gets traded. If we go into 0xUniverse, you can see that there's a wide variety of planets and bundles available for purchase directly with their ERC-721 tokens. So you can come in here and you can filter and you can buy directly off people, which is pretty cool. There's some really expensive stuff here, but let's just check one out. So there's people selling bundles, which is really cool. So in this particular bundle, these are all epics, and this guy is selling them for 2.5 Ethereum. There's quite a lot. How many have we got here actually? 11. We have 11 epics. So let me just have a quick review of this, and I'll inform you whether or not it's really good or not. Look, I've just had a quick look, and this is actually really fairly reasonable, and it's mainly because there are resources like the purple ones, like where we go, kryptonite. So a kryptonite generation of 77 per day, that's reasonably high, and there's a few of these. So the fact is, there's 11 of these epics, and so that's about 0.23 or 0.24 per epic, and we have to view these particular planets in game to see if they've got population. Because if they've got population and high resource count, then this bundle is a bargain. I'm just going to take a quick look. So if we have a look at planet 823, for example, which is in this bundle, it has a stack of resources. So generation is not really that high. But if you're new to the game and you're interested in really stocking up for corporations and battleships, this bundle actually is really awesome. So let's just take another quick look at another one. 1311. Here's another one. This is actually a really good bundle. I'm almost ashamed to be recording because I'd buy it myself, but it's that's fantastic. So anyway, let's fast forward to what we're actually here for. If we go into account and we go my items, this links directly to the wallet that you have attached. In this particular case, I have my number 3 account, which is attached to it. It's tapping into it, which is really cool. And what you can do is you can go into gift multiple items. So this is really powerful because rather than having to do it individually in each game, you can gift up to 30 items via Opensea. So all you need to know is the recipient's Metamask Ethereum wallet, and you're off and away. So let's have a look at how that's going to look. So what you do is you set up a bundle transfer and you go through and you add all of the planets that you want to send. That's 6237. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. And that's 15. Did I miss one? Final check. Okay, really interesting point that you guys need to cater to and think about in your strategy is, so this bundle will let me select 15 items. And that's because in this particular account, I have a planet up for auction. So that token's locked. Very interesting. Did not know that until today, because all my other accounts have not had things being sold from them. So I've been putting this epic up in order to gift all of the planets, including this one. I have to cancel the auction, and then I'll be able to add it to the bundle. So let's do that. Okay, so now that we have cancelled that auction, it's going to be the easy case that we can send them all across. We have 16 items ready to rock and roll. Most of these are commons and everything, it doesn't matter. So what we're going to do is pop that in here and send across these items. So it looks like the transaction's finally gone through, so let's just check it out. Yep, we have no planets in here, which is awesome. So it's all gone back to the main account. So now we can just wrap up what we've learned through this video and then can put it into practice. So guys, today in this video about the expert guide for profit, we have learnt how multiple accounts can set us up for greater profits in the game. So in order to do that, you need your MetaMask address, a new email address, and then you can create a brand new 0xUniverse account. We taught you how to swap between them in the process, how many planets and population we would recommend to get started. What I aim for personally in a ship before sending it out to find planets, what's probably your best high-level ships, and when to decide if an account is probably no longer profitable in terms of resource and spend, and how you can essentially decommission or offboard an account from your group. So I hope you liked the video, guys. Let me know if you have any comments or anything else you want me to run and have a look at. We are building some interesting tools in the community in relation to account management and transactions in order to record, what has actually been profitable in terms of spend versus launches versus sales and those sorts of things. So working on a variety of stuff. It's really cool. The guys in the community are really awesome. So if you have a spare moment, drop into the Discord and say hey to myself, and particularly some of the high level guys. You'll see them as orange. And as always, Alex Fed, he's really helpful in answering your community questions. So yeah, we're all preparing in relationship to corporations. So that's happening in the next 1 to 2 weeks. I'm likely to do a video on that. And until next time, happy hunting.